It is not you who decides when to awaken. Awakening decides on you, and when it comes, you will realize it has always been waiting. Have you noticed how the deepest truths arrive not when you demand them, but when you least expect them? You may hear the same words 100 times, nod politely, even forget them, and then one day they strike you like lightning. The universe has its own timing. It whispers, waits, and only when you are ripe, when your heart has softened, do you hear it. This is why I often say, truth is not something you chase down. It is something that finds you. Just as a flower blooms in its season, so do you awaken in yours. And God, by which I do not mean an old man in the sky, but the very intelligence of existence itself, knows precisely when you are ready. What you call coincidence, what you call synchronicity, is really life's way of delivering the right message at the right time. The book that falls from the shelf, the sentence overheard at just the right moment, the teacher you meet by chance. Perhaps you've had this experience. You hear a piece of music once, and it passes through you without much effect. Years later, you hear it again, and suddenly it feels as if the composer wrote it for your life alone, as if it had been waiting in silence for this very moment. What has changed? Not the music. You have changed. You have grown. You have suffered. You have loosened. And so the words can enter. Readiness is not a matter of intelligence. It is a matter of ripeness. Apples do not fall from the tree because they are clever. They fall because they are ready. Now here is the strange thing. All along, the truth was there. All along, the lessons waited. But until your eyes adjusted, you could not see. This is why some of you listening now may feel as though you were meant to be here, that somehow these words are arriving not by accident but by design. And yet, design is too heavy a word. Let us say instead, rhythm. The rhythm of life placed this moment here as a note in a symphony. And the symphony plays not according to your will, but according to its own mysterious order. This is what we mean when we say, God knows you are ready. Not that some external authority is keeping score, doling out wisdom to the deserving. Rather, that the universe unfolds you like a fern, one spiral at a time. And only when the leaf has unfurled enough can the next revelation be seen. Trying to hurry this is useless. To force awakening is like tugging on a bud, hoping it will bloom faster. It only tears the petals. Instead, we learn patience. We trust that when the moment is ripe, the fruit will fall into our hands. But here is the difficulty. We live in a culture that worships speed, control, and achievement. We think if only we read enough books, attend enough seminars, practice enough techniques, we can force enlightenment upon ourselves. But you see, the whole attempt is like trying to make yourself fall asleep by sheer effort. The harder you try, the more awake you become. Awakening, like sleep, comes only when you stop grasping. It comes when you surrender. When you stop digging at the soil, the seed begins to sprout on its own. So you must understand, readiness is not created by effort alone. Readiness ripens naturally through your living, through your heartbreaks, through your failures, through your moments of wonder and despair. Each experience softens you, wears you down, and in that softening, truth can seep through the crack. If you are listening to these words now, it may be that you have lived enough, lost enough, or simply paused enough, that some part of you has become porous, and so the wisdom flows in as water fills an open cup. Now, many people think of God as a being outside themselves, handing out blessings or punishments. But I tell you, God is the very process of your unfolding. God is that intelligence which arranges the galaxies, orchestrates the tides, and whispers through the beating of your heart. It is not that God suddenly chooses you when you are ready. It is that you and God are the same rhythm, the same pulse. And when your pulse aligns with the greater pulse, the message arrives. You cannot miss it because it is already inside you. Think of music. The notes mean nothing when played at the wrong time. Strike the violin too early, and it is noise. Strike it at the right moment, and it is beauty. Life is the same. The truth delivered too early is chaos. Delivered in its time, it is revelation. That is why teachers across the centuries have said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But really, the teacher was always there. The difference is that now you can hear them. Now you are tuned to the right frequency. But let us go further. Why were you not ready before? Because unreadiness is part of readiness. You cannot appreciate light without having known darkness. You cannot understand peace without having felt turmoil. What you call mistakes, delays, detours, are in fact the soil in which readiness grows. Without them, you would never ripen. So do not regret the time it took you to arrive here. That wandering was the path. That confusion was the preparation. Even the moments when you thought you were furthest from truth were the very moments bending you toward it. So, if you find yourself here, listening, do not imagine it is coincidence. Life is far too playful for mere accident. It is as though the universe has been quietly arranging things behind the curtain, nudging events and weaving circumstances, until finally you could hear. This is not destiny in the rigid sense, as though everything were carved in stone. No, it is more like a dance. You step, the universe responds. You resist, it waits. You open, it pours in. Timing is not imposed, it is co-created between you and the whole. And here lies another paradox. You cannot force readiness, but you can prepare the ground. Just as a farmer cannot make the rain fall, but can plow the field, sow the seed, and clear the weeds. Readiness is the harvest of patience. By quieting the mind, by loosening the grip of ego, by living fully in joy and in sorrow, you soften the soil of your being. And when the rain comes, when the message arrives, it does not bounce off hardened ground, but sinks deeply, transforming you from within. Have you ever looked back on a moment and thought, if I had heard this then, I wouldn't have understood it? That is the proof. Life withholds, not to punish, but to protect. To reveal truth too early is to drown you in it. Imagine handing a child a book of advanced philosophy. They may flip through it, but it will mean nothing. Only later, when their mind and heart have stretched, will those same words bloom like firework. So too, with the lessons of your own life, they wait until your vessel can hold them. This is why you must trust the unfolding. If something has not come, it is not yet your time. If a door has not opened, it is because the room inside would overwhelm you. Trust that what you need will arrive when you are able to receive it. And when it does, you will marvel at the perfection of its timing. The heartbreak that seemed meaningless suddenly becomes the soil for compassion. The delay that frustrated you becomes the pause that saved you. The waste of time becomes the very season that ripened your soul. Some of you may still be restless, saying, but I want to awaken faster, I want to know sooner. But see, this wanting is itself the obstacle. Awakening does not come by demand. It comes by surrender. When you grasp, you close your hand. And when your hand is closed, nothing can be placed in it. Only when you open, when you release your desperate need for control, does the gift arrive. And here is the irony. The moment you stop demanding enlightenment, enlightenment slips quietly in through the back door. Think of falling in love. You cannot schedule it, cannot plot it, cannot demand it. It happens when it happens, often when you least expect it. But you can prepare yourself for it by being open, by being honest, by being alive. Awakening is like this. It sneaks upon you in an ordinary moment, a sunset, a laugh, a sudden silence, and suddenly everything is illuminated. You realize you have been ready all along, and only your resistance delayed the recognition. Readiness is not about adding something. It is about removing the walls you built against it. So perhaps you are asking, if God knows when I am ready, what is my role? Your role is to live fully, messily, beautifully, to stumble and get up again, to love and to lose, to weep and to laugh. All of this is the plowing of the soil. All of this prepares you for the moment when the truth can bloom. You need not worry about when it comes. That is not your business. Your business is simply to live, and in the living, you ripen. And when you are ripe, the fruit falls naturally. A student once came to a Zen master and demanded enlightenment. He said, I have studied, I have meditated, I have fasted, and still the truth escapes me. The master simply poured tea into his cup, and when the cup overflowed, he kept pouring. The student cried, Stop! Can't you see the cup is full? And the master replied, Exactly. How can truth enter when you are so full of yourself? The lesson was simple. Readiness requires emptiness. Only when you empty your cup can it be filled. Are you willing to be empty, to admit you do not know, to let go of your defenses, to allow yourself to be vulnerable? This is readiness. It is not about becoming more clever, more spiritual, more accomplished. It is about becoming spacious enough for truth to land, spacious enough for God, or life, or the universe, whatever word you prefer to pour itself into you. The paradox is that you do not create readiness by effort, but by letting go of effort, by allowing yourself to simply be. And here is the beauty. When you are ready, you do not have to go searching. The truth comes to you. It comes in a conversation, in a silence, in a poem, in a piece of music. It comes in laughter, in heartbreak, in the turning of the seasons. It does not matter the form. What matters is the recognition. And when it comes, you will know it. You will feel as though the universe has been speaking to you all along. But only now could you finally hear. If you are listening to this now, perhaps it is because you are ready. Ready not in some dramatic, final sense, but ready for the next step, the next unfolding. Readiness is not once and for all. It is wave after wave. Each lesson prepares you for the next. Each awakening is but the door to a deeper one. And so you go on, not arriving, but unfolding, like a lotus that opens petal by petal. The flower does not rush to bloom. It trusts the sun, the rain, and its own mysterious timing. Now remember, to be ready does not mean life will suddenly become easy. Quite the opposite. Readiness often means you are strong enough to face deeper truths, truths that may unsettle you, even frighten you. But fear not. If they have come, it is because you are able. Life does not hand you burdens you cannot carry. What it gives you is always in proportion to your capacity. So if the truth feels heavy, it is only because you have grown strong enough to bear it. And in bearing it, you will grow stronger still. What should you do now? Nothing extraordinary. Simply listen. Simply live. Allow these words to settle like seeds. Do not rush to pluck them into meaning. Let them germinate in their own time, for perhaps you will forget them tomorrow. But one day, months or years from now, you may hear them again, and they will strike you anew. That is how truth works. It circles, it returns, and each time you are ready for a deeper layer, do not worry about holding on. What is meant for you will never be lost. And in the end, you will discover something even more curious. The God you thought was waiting to reveal truth to you was never separate. The timing, the readiness, the revelation, it was all you. The intelligence that holds back until you are ready is the same intelligence beating in your chest, the same intelligence guiding your breath. You are both the seeker and the sought, both the question and the answer, the student and the teacher. Awakening is not something given to you, it is something remembered by you. So, if you are here, perhaps this is your time. Perhaps you are ready not for the final truth, but for this truth, for this moment. Do not ask what comes next. Simply be with this. For the miracle is not in reaching the end, but in realizing that every step along the way was the lesson. And so, I leave you with this thought. It is not you who decides when to awaken. Awakening decides on you. And if these words have found you now, then perhaps, my friend, you are already awakening.